Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM. This is Lex Tan, host and producer of this radio show, and I am so honored and so privileged to be talking to one of Canada's best wrestlers of this generation. You've seen him in many different companies, and he has been a light in this industry, putting smiles on everybody's faces no matter where he goes. From Niagara Falls, Ontario, Shawn Spears. Shawn, welcome to Ringside Heat, and thank you so much for doing this.
No, that was one hell of an introduction, man. Thank you very much for your kind words. Very happy to be here, and I appreciate your time.
Now, you've been around to many different promotions over your career, but it seems that you have found a home in AEW. Can you speak about that?
Yeah, that would be spot on. I've been around for over 21 years now, and I've been very fortunate in the career that I've had. It has been a wild and winding journey, but I feel I have landed in the spot that I am supposed to be in, which is AEW. I've been here from the very beginning, from the inception of the company until this very day. So I have been through every incarnation, and we've been, we've hopped over every hurdle together, and we have grown very fast together. But I feel that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I have had some of the most fun I've ever had in my career here in AEW. And with what we're doing and with what we have down the pipeline, and you guys are already well aware of the shows that we have coming up, this Canadian tour is going to be what fires everything off to what's going to be one hell of a 2023.
And with the Canadian tour, there's just so many dates for it that have been booked, and it's awesome that Tony Khan and the rest of you have really doubled down on committing to the Canadian fans. And that is great because Canada, and especially Ontario, as you know, is home to many of the best wrestling fans in the entire world.
Agreed. And Tony has had this in the plans, in the works for a very long time. He's wanted to hit Canada since I can remember. We had talked very early on about our love for Canada. Obviously, I'm going to be a little biased.
Yeah.
He's always loved Canada as well. And one thing he's always wanted to do was bring AEW to Canada. So, but not just hit the Ontario market or the Toronto, the big cities. We want to hit Regina. We want to hit Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We want to go as far as we can out west to Calgary. We want to be able to we have enough talent on this roster, and we have talent from all across Canada, that in all of these shows, there's pretty much going to be a hometown boy or a hometown girl, because we are covering nearly the entire country. This is not going to be the last time that we do it. We were already very happy with the response to this Canadian tour. So this is pretty much the jumping off point. It's going to be an incredible summer for AEW, and it's going to lead right into Wembley with over 60,000 people, and we're going to continue strong from then on. So this is a massive, massive starting point for AEW with this Canadian tour.
And as you mentioned, it's all going to culminate with 60,000 fans in attendance at Wembley Stadium. Now, what goes through your mind when you're wrestling in a soccer stadium full of people? How does that even register for you?
So I've been doing this. It's exciting. That's the simple answer. Doing this so long, guys like the Adam Coles and the Chris Jerichos and the Shawn Spears and the Kenny Omegas and the Young Buck, these are guys that have been, the CM Punks and the Miros, and we have been wrestling for so long that we've had the opportunity to wrestle in front of 40, 50. I've been in front of 80,000 people. It is a second to none experience. And at this point in my career, I am really excited. This might sound a little weird. I'm really excited for the young talent to experience that for the first time. Our young Jungle Boys, our Darby Allens, our Ricky Starks, are guys that are kind of going to be the next group of talent to kind of take the baton and take AEW into the future. I'm really excited to see how they react to that kind of pressure, to that kind of an audience. They are incredibly talented, just those guys that I've listed. But this is going to be a high-pressure situation, but it's going to be one of the most memorable nights of their lives. And it's going to be one of the most memorable ones of mine as well. So that's what I'm excited for the most, just to feel that sea of humanity, feel that energy. The UK is another place that they have been, chomping at the bit for AEW for a long time. And now they're getting what is going to be our biggest show to date and could possibly be all time.
Years ago, my buddy John talked to Vince Russo, and he asked Vince what was his aha moment in the industry where he began to realize just what he's doing and what he's contributing to. Now, in light of that, what is your aha moment that made you feel right at home in AEW?
There wasn't necessarily an aha moment to where I went, this is the place I was supposed to be. I know what I bring to the table. I know I offer a global company. And I just happen to do it better than a great deal of other people. So coming over to AEW, being a new startup company, there's not many firsts left in professional wrestling. So this was an opportunity for me to get in on the ground level, for me to experience their first lineup of shows, their first pay-per-views, their first touring ability. All these kind of things that AEW presented, I got in at the ground level on. So that for me alone was very exciting. If there was to be an aha thing for me, it would be the fact that there can be multiple global companies existing at the same time, and our audience is what benefits from that the most. There's a world to coexist easily. You know what I mean? There's going to be the battle for the ratings. There's going to be the battle for eyeballs. Of course, that's what this all is. But, we're not just combating against each other. We're combating against the Stanley Cup playoffs that just ended last night. We're combating against the NBA playoffs that just ended. We're combating against the NFL, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, like all these different, we're all battling for eyeballs. So what we like to do is kind of stay in our lane. We want to provide the best professional wrestling that AEW can provide. But that's the thing for me that I love the most, that I can sit back and go, man, like wrestling's awesome right now.
It is.
Fan, or whether you're a wrestler, it is a wonderful and, part of my language, badass time to be in the wrestling. And it is just fun. And for someone who's been doing this as long as I have, that excites me. That makes me go, let's go.
That's amazing. I love hearing about that kind of positivity from people in the wrestling industry because it's such a great industry altogether, but it's just great to have good, positive people contributing to this product and putting smiles on our faces as fans.
No problem, but you said it right there. It's contributing. I have the luxury of waking up every morning and going, today I get to be a professional wrestler. One day I'll wake up and I won't be able to say that anymore. But until that day comes, I get to wake up every day and I get to contribute to the world of pro wrestling however I can. And if 10, 15, 20, 100, 200 other guys or girls think that same way, man, it's only going to benefit the industry. It's only going to make everybody around us better. It's only going to make us as individuals better as well. So that's the way I kind of look at things now, is just, man, I get to wake up and I get to be a pro wrestler today. So like you said, contribution and anything I can do to make AEW bigger and better, that is the name of the game. That's my job.
Now, on Ringside Heat, we do have a saying. If you want your promotion to succeed and do well, get Canadians on your roster. We firmly believe the Canadians make everything better. Now, what would you add to that idea?
Well, I'm Canadian, so I 100% agree. Of course we do. In every facet of life, we make life in general better. World of professional wrestling, yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And it's only because we have such a rich history with Canadian families and professional wrestling, going all the way back to the Harts. We're talking about the Hart Dynasty that pretty much put professional wrestling on the map and have given us some of the greatest stars that we still idolize and talk about to this day. But then again, you have guys, look at our AEW roster. You got guys like Chris Jericho. You got guys like Christian. There's Kenny Omega, who's also Canadian. There's myself. We have Ethan Page, who's the Hamilton boy. We have Hamilton coming up, Collision, and Dynamite the week after Forbidden Door. Evil Uno. We have a lot of Canadian talent that have been grinding it out for a very long time. and who are really making a name for themselves if they're not already big stars already. So, yeah, it just brings a different dynamic. The work ethic is second to none. Of course, I'm being a little biased. But yeah, Canadians 100% make everything better, man. You ask any Canadian, they'd be crazy if they didn't tell you the same.
And now for new Canadian content, congratulations to you and Cassie on the birth of your son, Austin. How's life been now that you've become a dad? And how excited are you and Cassie going to be to introduce Austin to the wild and crazy world of professional wrestling that we all know and love?
Oh, man. That's funny. We'll have it on TV sometimes, and he kind of gets googly eyed. He just watches it, and we just look at each other and go, oh, no. Because he's just fixated, and in my mind, it's just the colors and the movement that he's fixated on. He's not, hopefully he doesn't realize it's professional wrestling just yet. But if he, if that's something that he wants to dip his toes into a little later on in life, so be it. It's going to be hard to deter him when his mother and father both did the exact same thing, and we're able to explain our love and passion for that. But being a dad, and we kind of said it earlier, like you said before we went live, for me personally, it's just changed my perspective on a lot, both in the world of professional wrestling and outside of it. In the world of professional wrestling, I used to get, bent out of shape about the smallest of things that are now just trivial. They don't matter at the end of the day. In this industry, if you ask anybody who's been in it for a long period of time, you're kind of on your own. If you want to get anything done or you want to get to a certain level, a lot of it depends and a lot of it rides on your shoulders. There's going to be those that help you out along the way if you yourself are doing the right things. So for a very long time, I lived a very selfish lifestyle. Once Austin came along, everything just flipped. Everything now is for my son. So I ain't going to complain week to week about being on TV or why am I not on TV? You know what I mean? I have the luxury of waking up every morning, like I said, saying that I am a professional wrestler and I get to do this for one more day. So if you want to utilize me, wonderful. If you want me to be a, cheerleader in the background, I can do that too. But at the end of the day, whatever provides the best possible life for my son, whatever provides the best possible life for my wife, that is my main goal, my main focus, and that will be my main goal and focus until the day I die. So it has turned my world upside down in the most beautiful way possible. And yeah, it's hard to explain, but I get it now. I understand it now.
Ringside Heat on News Talk Saga 960 AM, Lex Tan with Shawn Spears. We're almost out of time, but Shawn, you're a busy man, I know. I got 5 quick fire questions to ask you. 5 faves. Favorite non-wrestling activity?
I read these 5 very difficult questions, by the way. A non-hobby, I enjoy video games. I am a video game kind of guy.
Favorite song?
Oh, I don't really have I do love Elvis Presley, and I do sing Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Not you personally, but Can't Help Falling in Love with You in general. I sing that to my son a lot. So right now, that's top of the list. Favorite
cheat meal food?
It has to be pizza because that's the wife's favorite.
Favorite exercise?
The days off.
Favorite attraction at Niagara Falls?
There's a lot to see. It's got to be the falls themselves, because if you're crossing the bridge or you get to drive by in a beautiful summer day, it looks incredible. But in the dead of winter, if you're driving by and it's all frozen, it looks equally as beautiful. So the falls itself is the attraction.
And thank you very much, Shawn, for chatting with me today, and all the best with everything going on in AEW, with Collision, the Canadian tour, with Wembley Stadium. I know it's going to be an awesome time for you, for me, and for all of us wrestling fans.
AEWTix.com, Canada. Come on out. I'll see you at Dynamite. I'll see you at Collision. I love you guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks, man.